Now, we want to lead off, Dad. There was a big win, and Will, you can kind of set this up out of the Supreme Court that happened just before we went on air, and then we'll discuss the other topics at hand. But we want to make sure we keep everyone up to date.
That's right. This is a win that just came out of the Supreme Court, a unanimous decision written by Justice Sotomayor. And this is a case that the ACLJ engaged on where a Wisconsin-based Catholic charity was essentially not given some tax-exempt status situation in Wisconsin because the Wisconsin Supreme Court ruled that their work to feed and care for the poor was not inherently a Christian activity. This was overturned by the U.S. Supreme Court, and we want to get the Chief Counsel, Jay Sekulo's thoughts on this. It was something the ACLJ filed on, and obviously we take very seriously here, but obviously this just came out, but kind of first glance, what are your thoughts on this?
First of all, it's a huge win because it was unanimous. So that's anytime you have a religion case that's unanimous, that's a good thing. The other aspect of it that's significant is we've been litigating for several years, really, this whole issue of treating religious institutions differently than other groups when it comes to getting various government benefits. Here it was a tax credit for religious institutions. Now, they were denied their credit simply because they were a Christian charity and that their view of how this worked would be violated the Establishment Clause. Well, the Supreme Court, in that opinion by Justice Sotomayor, unanimously concluded that when the government distinguishes among religions based on theological differences in their provision of service, it imposes denominational preference that must satisfy the highest level of judicial scrutiny, which this law did not. And so it was targeted. It's very much in the line of cases that we've argued going back to Lamb's Chapel in the 1990s, where religious institutions were treated differently for access to public schools than every other group. We won that unanimously. It's interesting here, Logan and Will, is that, and to our audience, that a lot of these cases where there's denial of a specific benefit to a religious group, if you look at the history of that litigation, it's often been unanimous or 8-1. Where all of the justices think that that's an unlawful discrimination. So it's a major victory. It's a real advance for the First Amendment and for the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. Very good decision. We should be very happy and thank our donors for allowing us to participate in the case.
Yeah, and I want to clarify, though, for those you say, it does seem to always be now unanimous or 8-1 or very close. That wasn't the case back before you and the ACLJ started, because you were arguing it in a very different way. People were arguing religious cases based on the freedom of religion, not necessarily always the freedom of speech.
Yeah, correct. And that was a sea change that we really implemented back in the late 80s. And it's taken, 40 years. But now you look at these decisions coming out of the court on the religion clause. Now, there was a couple aberrations last week on a couple of cases. But for the most part, they've been very good. And this one goes a long way. Very positive.
Well, it just shows how deep the work of the ACLJ is at right now. And look, we're having a good month so far. We're kicking things off strong. But I think people need to understand, our supporters need to understand that we've been involved in each one of these issues in many different ways, and in ways that other organizations just simply can't.
That's exactly right. I mean, every topic you've discussed this week, we are involved in at the ACLJ, whether it's over in Israel, whether it's here, whether it's a local school board or representing pro-life protesters or sidewalk counselors. All of that happens because of the support of the people that are supporting the work of the ACLJ. A special thank you to our ACLJ champions and also to our ACLJ members around the country, because it's really making a difference.
We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide you with the best tools available to partner with us at the ACLJ. You can watch the daily Sekulo program, sign the petitions, customize your ACLJ membership experience, donate with the click of a button, and receive up-to-the-minute critical updates that the mainstream media can't censor. Just scan the QR code on your screen or go to your phone's app store, search ACLJ, and click install. It's that simple.